There's a version of playing that stops being about fun long before anyone notices. The game doesn't get worse. The person doesn't get bored. It just slowly becomes the one place where the noise finally goes quiet. For a lot of people, that shift happens so gently they never catch the moment it turned. And if some part of you leaned in just now, reading that, then stay. This one is for you. This isn't about playing too much. This isn't about lacking discipline. And it's definitely not about being addicted to a screen. This is about something quieter, more specific, and far more human than any of those words will ever tell you. There are 5 signs that gaming has quietly slipped from something you enjoy into something you're using. Not to judge you, to help you see it clearly. And the last one hides in plain sight because by the time it shows up, it already feels completely normal. The first sign is that relief has replaced joy. There's a real distinction here. Frode Stenseng, a psychologist who studies escape, describes 2 very different forms of it. One is self-expansion. You play to become more, to feel, to explore, to add something to who you are. The other is self-suppression. You play to become less, to feel less, to turn the volume of yourself all the way down. You've probably heard that games relieve stress. That's true, but here's what most people miss. Relief and joy can feel almost identical in the moment, and underneath they are opposites. Joy adds something. Relief only takes something away. So think about the last few nights you sat down in the dark, the monitor the only light in the room. Were you reaching towards something you wanted or away from something you couldn't sit with? Think of it like eating. There's eating because the food is good, and there's eating so you don't have to feel the hour you're in. Same fork. Completely different hunger. And the second sign is one other people could actually see. The second sign is that you only launch the games that ask nothing of you. Look at your library honestly. The story games you swore you'd play are still sitting there, wrapped, untouched. The sequel you pre-ordered is 3 updates behind. And yet, night after night, your hand goes to the same comfortable grind, the same lobby, the same loop you could run with your eyes closed. Psychologists who study motivation would point out something quiet here. A passion pulls you toward the new, the uncertain, the thing that might move you. An escape pulls you toward the familiar because the familiar lets you be absent. You can have 1,000 hours in one game and a backlog of 40 you'll never open, and it isn't laziness. The new ones ask you to be present. The old one lets you disappear. Even the wins stop landing. The platinum, the rank, the rare drop that used to feel like an event, now it's just a box ticked, because the point of the session was never really the game. But here's a stranger question. The third sign is that time doesn't fly. It vanishes. Every gamer knows the feeling of looking up and 3 hours are gone. Usually that's a good thing. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi called it flow. Total absorption in something perfectly matched to your skill. In flow, time compresses because you are so completely there. But there's a darker cousin of flow that wears the exact same clothes. In real flow, you come out sharper, lighter, like the whole world got a little wider. In the other version, it's 3 in the morning, you're still in the queue telling yourself, one more match. And when you finally stop, you feel foggy, like you weren't there at all, like you skipped the time instead of living it. That's not absorption. That's closer to numbing. So here's the question that actually matters. When you finish a session, do you feel restored or do you feel like you just woke up from something? Now, let's be honest about the other side of this, because it matters. There's a completely healthy version of everything I'm describing, and most gamers are living it. Andrew Przybyłski and his colleagues at the Oxford Internet Institute found something that surprised a lot of people. The raw number of hours you play barely predicts whether gaming helps you or hurts you. What predicts it is why you play. When a game meets real needs, a sense of skill, of choice, of connection, it genuinely restores you. And there's a reason the quiet can be so hard to sit in. In one study of more than 2,000 people, researchers found our minds wander for nearly half of our waking hours, and a wandering mind often drifts somewhere uncomfortable. A good game gives that restless mind a clean, absorbing place to land, and then it hands you back to your life. That is not a warning sign. That is one of the sanest things an adult can do. But if that's not what your nights feel like anymore, the next sign is where it starts to cost you. The fourth sign is that going back to your life feels unbearable. This is the clearest line there is, so I'll say it slowly. The healthy version makes you want to return to your life. The other version makes the idea of returning feel like a door you'd rather not open. Psychologists who study avoidance coping describe exactly this. When a behavior mainly works by helping you dodge something painful, the pain doesn't shrink. It waits. And every hour you spend not facing it, it gets a little heavier, which makes the game the only tolerable place to be, which makes going back even harder. There's a man named Daniel, 38 years old, from Columbus. He works in accounts payable, invoices, and spreadsheets, a job he calls quiet in a way that isn't peaceful. For about a year, he'd come home and the game was on before his shoes were off, a big online grind he could sink into for hours. He told himself he was unwinding, but he noticed he'd started saving right before quitting, just in case, as if leaving needed an emergency exit. And he started dreading Sunday nights, not because of Monday, but because sleep meant it had to end. He put it in one sentence that stuck with me. He said, "It's not that I love the game that much, it's that I can't stand the quiet it's covering." That experience has a name in psychology. It's called experiential avoidance, the steady, understandable habit of steering around your own inner life. And notice, Daniel isn't weak, he's tired. Those are not the same thing. The last sign hides in plain sight. The fifth sign is that you've started hiding it, not the playing, the truth about the playing. You round the hours down when someone asks. You close the game a little too fast when a partner walks in. You read the patch notes more carefully than your work emails, but you'd never admit that out loud. Psychology has a simple, unglamorous read on this. We hide the things we have already, privately, decided we'd be judged for. The secrecy isn't the problem. The secrecy is the receipt. It means some part of you already suspects the honest answer to the question we've been circling and would rather not hear it out loud. And this is exactly where I want to be careful with you. None of these 5 signs means the game is your enemy. None of them means you're broken or that you have to quit anything. They are not a diagnosis. They are a flashlight. Now, zoom out. Relief instead of joy. The loved games left untouched while you run the same safe loop. Time that vanishes instead of flies. A return to life that feels unbearable. And a quiet, growing need to hide it. Line them up and notice what they are not. They are not proof that you're failing at life. They're proof that some part of your life got too heavy to hold and you found the one place that could hold it for a while. That's not a character flaw. That's a nervous system doing its best with what it had. And the tragedy is that most people who carry all of this spend years calling themselves lazy for it, when the truer word was always tired or scared or alone. If you recognized yourself in 3 or 4 of these, the game isn't the problem. And it isn't the solution either. It's the smoke. And smoke is worth following back to the room it's coming from, gently and with someone if you can. You already know the difference. You've felt both. The night the game handed you back to your life, lighter. And the night it just kept you. One of those is rest. The other is a room with the lights off. So here's what I actually want to know. What's the game you reach for when everything is too much? And be honest with yourself before you answer. Does it give you back to your day? Or does it keep you? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if this made you feel seen instead of caught, subscribe. More like this every week.